Hi everybody, I'm Joey Evans and welcome back. We are now going in the next segment, getting further to the bottom, or the top. One would be the bottom, one... We're getting further down the list. So we are now going to look at my 60 to 51 games of all time. Okay, so my number 60 was a surprise to me when I first played it. I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. The game is very colorful. I wasn't sure how it would go. And it's similar to Timeline, which I do love Timeline because I like the educational value, the reading, and you learn, and it's a fun game. But this one kind of fits a better niche for me. This is Trekking Through History. Trekking Through History is pretty much, the way I view it is you have a time machine, you're going through different timelines here, and you're trying to go and get different cards, and you have to get them in order, kind of a set collection type thing. There are several things I like about this. I have not played the other trekking games, but this one I really, really enjoy. Number one, the artwork is great. And I also like the mechanic of for the player to go is always the one in the back, and you keep going forward and forward. And then they have the crunchy decisions where at the beginning, you're all kind of starting at the same place, but you guys have all changed towards the end because you have different gaps you need to fill because you're waiting for certain cards to come out. And you may decide to take that big jump in time and then just hope that those cards come up consecutively that would work out for you to be able to work that timeline and get your better set. So I enjoy this game. I also enjoy looking through those different things that happen through history and finding out the information about those. But this is a great game, looks great on the table. It's very simple too. So I wouldn't say it's a beginner game, a starter game, but it is a simple, lighter game that I do enjoy. And that is Trekking Through History. Okay, so my number 59 game of all time is a game that I have thought about getting rid of so many times because it's just silly. And I'm like, man, I don't know. But then it comes back out and people have a blast playing it. It's a dexterity game and it is Flip Ships. So for you that have not played Flip Ships, here's what you do. Lean closer. No, I'm going to tell you. Here's what you do. You flip, wait for it, ships. That's right, you flip ships. And it's pretty cool because all these things are coming down. You are flipping the ships forward, landing, and all the ships that you flip, that's going to be hard to say this whole time. But the ships that you flip, okay, the ships that you flip actually have, I got to stop saying it. They have different places they shoot and kind of different asymmetric abilities, which makes it really fun. But then also you are flipping your ship to the mothership. Whew, this is tough. So you're flipping your ship to the mothership. And anyway, so you're trying to get another ship, and that's really fun. It reminds me of skee-ball. You know when you play skee-ball and you can go for the center, where you know you're going to get some points, you're going to get something, and that's kind of where the whole spread of actual ships are. Or you can go for the big one, the big 1,000 that's up in the corner, right? And that's what the mothership is. So if you go for the mothership, you could miss and then not get anything done. Or you could actually hit it. So I really like that kind of give and take. It's a fun, light game, but I really enjoy it. I haven't played Space Invaders yet. They say that's very similar, but I don't think you flip it. I think you have like a little mechanism. But this one, the simplicity on it, it's a blast, and it is Flip Ships. I said it right, didn't I? Flip Ships? Flip Ships. Flip Ships. I'm going to stop saying it now. Okay, so my number 58 game is probably a game that really needs no introduction. It is, I'm putting just a blanket name in there, and that is Ticket to Ride. There's a lot of Ticket to Rides out there, and I enjoy all of them. Ticket to Ride, sometimes I like Ticket to Ride New York because it is shorter. Rails and Sails, all of these I do enjoy, so I'm putting them all into one number of Ticket to Ride because this is one that I can play with new gamers, older gamers, experienced gamers, whatever. We were just actually having a conversation this morning about someone in the office was going from Seattle to Portland, and Tom's like, well, that's not very far. That's one ticket, a Ticket to Ride, which is pretty funny. It's one train because that's kind of a unit of measurement now. That's how ingrained in the, not just gaming society in general, that Ticket to Ride is. It really needs no introduction. It's a fun game, and of course, I love seeing the stuff coming out, especially the new one coming out, Ticket to Ride Legacy. Pretty excited about that. But that is Ticket to Ride. Okay, so my number 57, I say a lot of times that gaming comes down to the experiences that you have, and I think that is true. And when you get that excitement of things that makes you excited about a game, that really propels that forward. And this, when it first came out, had that buzz, and that is Gloomhaven. And Jaws of the Lion is in there as well, but for us, it was the big Gloomhaven. Because when it came out, it was like we got a party together, and we would set our clocks, or our, not clocks, we set our phones to where we know this is the day. You know, we look forward to our party kind of hitting that campaign every time. We weren't real RPGers, but this kind of put us into that world, and you had that cohesion. And there's so many things I do like about this. I like the story. I like the combat. I love the crunchy decisions in the middle, like even when you're traveling from city to city and you could see someone, I don't know, they're in trouble on the side of the road. They are stuck working on whatever, they're underneath their horse trying to change the oil or whatever. But and you could run off with their pack, or you could leave it there and help them. So those little decisions like that are really fun, and it's neat to see which way that goes. I enjoyed them a lot. Now, that being said, I think this has been, for us, it's kind of been surpassed by a couple of other games that do it better and do it quicker. And another one is having a party of 4, they're not all in your family, is very difficult to keep that going. So we never really finished that campaign. But the experiences were great that we had with it, and I've still got it. So we are going to eventually play through it all. My wife is keeping them because she says when we retire, we are going to play Gloomhaven and then Frosthaven. And I told her because we'll be retired, we have to add bingo, rook, and what else? Spades? I don't know what else they played. But anyway, that is Gloomhaven. Okay, so my number 56 game of all time is, again, needs very little introduction. This is probably not the OG of worker placement, but it is close. It is Lords of Waterdeep. This one right here, this sat on my shelf of shame for longer than I thought. It's almost shameful because I was excited for it to hit the table. And then I found out it was worker placement. And I thought, really? A D&D game worker placement? Because I was thinking this big dungeon crawl. I'm like, this is okay, you know, and it just took its time hitting the table. But when it did, it's just so smooth. This is a great worker placement game, and I do like the expansion in this, the Skullport expansion. I think that's fairly necessary, but this one works, it's smooth, and I think it stands up with worker placement games today. Just the theming's great, everything just clicks with this. And that is Lords of Waterdeep. Okay, all right, now my number 55 game of all time. This series is kind of the king of Ameritrash, in my opinion. Not because they're the best, but because they put out just the quantity of stuff they put out. And this is one of my favorite in the series, and this is a zombie side, but in particular, Night of the Living Dead zombie side. And this one, for me, stands out from the field, even from the Marvel ones and all that, because this one is thematic in a way that you are actually playing through scenarios that get you to the movie. Even the first one, when you have to play through and they're trying to come into your house, kind of a castle defense type thing, but you are having to board up the different windows and get the boards, and all of that, just after you watch the movie or whatever, it really feels good, right? It feels nice, and we have the ours painted to where they have the how black and white scheme to it, so you actually have that feeling going through. It doesn't feel like a zombie side game to me, because there's not that open world, just kind of chaotic, and the quest only barely matters. You just have to pick up the red X's. In this one, you actually feel like there's a bit more of a theme going forward. And I think that's why this one stands out to me, because you are playing through a not just a campaign, but a movie that most of you have seen before. Hopefully. If you haven't, go see it. It's like public domain. It's everywhere. It's on YouTube. But don't leave now. Stay here, because I've got like 5 more. Is that math? 4 more. I've got more. Okay, so my number 54 game of all time is another one that, it's funny how all these kind of, they fall back and they fall forward. And this one is still in my top 100, and I don't ever really see it leaving. We play it a lot. At first we go through bursts and then it won't hit the table for a while, but then it'll come back out and we forget how fun it is. And this is Telestrations. Telestrations is pretty much, it's a telephone game where you're writing down a word and then you're drawing the word. Next person's looking at that drawing and writing down a word. Next person reads that word, then does the drawing, back and forth. And towards the end, a lot of times it changes to something else. So this has become one of our favorite games for really everybody. It's a blast to play. So much the fact that a lot of weddings, we will give this as a wedding gift with what we're giving the bride or groom. It really is one of those, and then they always call later and say, hey, we played it, we had a group at our house, didn't know what to do. This was great. So this game is a blast. So, I mean, what other game can you have things like, here's one we had recently, Fortune Teller. You know, there we go. That's a great picture of Fortune Teller. Fortune Teller, they got it. All right. Oh, that's the drawing of the Fortune Teller. Again, looks pretty good, right? And the guess on that one was Baby Jesus. Okay, I can kind of see Baby Jesus right there. So then we got Baby Jesus right there. Pretty good. You see the lamb there? And the final guess, cannibalism. So you actually go from Fortune Teller to cannibalism. And it's really fun. The best part of this isn't when you actually win. I don't even know if we've ever played the actual game. But the best part is seeing how those progress through the round. And we actually played this here on the channel recently, and it was a blast to see what things go through. And again, one of the reasons I like this game too is because you don't have to be really good at drawing, and I am not. I am not a good artist, which makes it even, I guess, better because people are trying to figure out what exactly you're trying to communicate. So anyway, that is Telestrations. Okay, my number 53 game of all time is a trick-taking game. And I do like trick-taking games. I grew up on Rook. Not really, I grew up on Rook because I had to play Rook because my family played Rook, and that was pretty much it. But this one takes to a new level, and this is The Crew. The Crew, again, you probably know exactly what this is. This is a cooperative trick-taking game where you are going through a campaign, and you're playing. We have a couple that we're actually playing the entire campaign with for 1 and 2, and it's enjoyable. But that's not just where it doesn't only shine there. The best part is you can then open this up with new people and jump in at mission 25, 26. And it's a very interesting thing for people. Most people know trick-taking games, but they don't really know cooperative trick-taking games. It kind of throws them off a little bit. So that's always fun to get them out there and to have them learn co-op. And it's a quick, I wouldn't say kind of beer and pretzels game, but it's one that you can talk during and have fun during, and a lot of kind of inside jokes come up. So that is The Crew. Okay, so my number 52 game of all time is a solo game. What? I think it's the only solo game on my list. I don't do solo a lot, and this one though, the theme grabbed me, because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a try. It is a horror-themed solo game, and by now you know what it is. It is, of course, Final Girl. Final Girl, I love so much about this. I love the thematic area, you know, the thematic take it's got on it, where you've got monsters that you kind of know who they are, but they're really not those people. But you can mix the monsters, the location, and the final girl, and you're just a final girl trying to live to the end of the movie. And I really enjoy that. So, and I also like how much there is going around putting everything together and doing the different combinations. So much the fact that we've actually bought another core box that my wife and I can play kind of next to each other. So we'll have some horror music on in the background, usually movie theme music, and we'll just kind of go through and we'll try different campaigns and things like that going through that. And it's a blast. You know, it is unbalanced. There are sometimes that you're like, I just don't think this particular situation is winnable. And that's okay. It's a shorter game. It's compact. It comes out quick. It goes up quick. It's fun. And then it's incredible how different most of the monsters are from each other. You know, all their different mechanics are different, and I love how they kind of put all that together in these boxes, and just a lot of gameplay is in these boxes. So again, we actually have another friend that has it too, so sometimes we'll do 3 people, everyone playing somebody different. But that is Final Girl. Okay, so my number 51 game of all time is another one that I've walked past several times. I saw it on the table and I thought, ooh, Doesn't look really inviting there. But it is a fun area control style game, and it is Ethnos. Ethnos, for me, I love the variability of all the classes in Ethnos because, and these are all in the core box. That's the thing. All the classes that come in that are some that you usually see. Some games would include different things in the expansions. And because of what classes you put in each game is different. And not just different because this class is in it or this class. It's because these two classes might be in there together. So their synergy will be a bit different. And your playstyle will change depending on who shows up. And there are pluses and minuses for everybody. Like I like the halflings, how there's just so many of them. And it's just, there's so much going on and there's so much depth to such a simple game rule-wise. So I really like Ethnos. And again, I think the board could use a little bit more, I don't know, vibrant look to it. But I like the cards, I like everything else. And this is a game that was a surprising hit for us. And this is Ethnos. Okay, so that was it. That was my 60 to 51 games of all time. Please comment below and let me know what you thought of these games or any games that are similar, or if you have any thoughts on these. If you'd like to play them with me, I will be at Dice Tower East and actually Gen Con, the retreat, all that fun stuff. I'd love to play these with you. But keep commenting. I love reading your guys' comments. You guys are the best. And please watch the rest of the people here on the Dice Tower channel. They will be going up all week. And next week, we will be dropping down to the top 50 games, starting with 41 to 50. So tune back in. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.